Hello and welcome to Inclusion to Belonging. I'm Dr. Julie Lane and I will be your instructor for our time together. I'm eager to learn from you as well as help you advance your own thoughts around how do we move into a culture that is more of belonging. The focus of our course is on special education and belonging. However, I'm happy to work with you and make adjustments if you're wanting to use the course material more around ethnicity, culture, and race. So let's see where the course takes us. For me, as a researcher and a full-time faculty member at Fresno Pacific University, I focus on how do we bring about a true culture of belonging in international, private, and rural schools here in the U.S. and abroad. I'm wanting to look at how culture identifies and shapes these communities of belonging where all children do belong, especially around disability. Our textbook by Crown Apple and Cobb is really a guide, and together with you and I together will work through that textbook to help broaden your own understanding of how we need to do so much self-reflection in understanding our own beliefs, our own values around belonging. So as we work through the material together, feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. My contact information is at the top of the syllabus, and I'm happy to support you via email, phone call, or even getting together on Zoom. So let's see what we can look at today in our first module. The big question we have to ask each other, or even ourselves, is do we rush in too quickly when we're talking about equity? Diversity really isn't a vision. We are each diverse in and of ourselves. So diversity already exists in our schools because regardless of ability, disability, culture, and race, we are each uniquely different. Therefore, diversity is present on our school campuses. And are we trying to stick a round peg in a square hole when we look at equity and diversity? Are we for something or are we against something? Oftentimes in school initiatives, we look at new opportunities to be proactive, to be supportive of something, to move us towards something we want to achieve. Instead of, are we trying to work against something? So take a moment and reflect on that concept. Are we just creating programs, or are we creating systematic changes and new systems? In special education, we still exist on the two-box model of general education and special education, which was brought about when special education law came into our schools in 1975. Can we create a system that is not two-box? Is our vision clear of what we want to create? And as I shared, through my own work, I've learned that every school is different. Its culture is different, and its demographics are different. So in Crown Apple and Cobb, they talk about we often go through this predictable first step process. We only look where the light is shining. So initially our first steps are we learn of a catalyst. We need to do something. We rush into it in hopes of being able to quickly create a program, an initiative to offset something that is negative that's happening. We make a public commitment, announcement to our school district or to our school that we are going to change what is happening in our community. We identify the challenges and what to implement, and then we accept the status quo. And we do this as we only look at what we already know. And this street light effect that Crown Apple and Cobb talk about is we're only looking where the light shines, what we already know. So even though I've lost my keys and I can't find them within the light, I never take the time to look outside the light to find my keys. And that's often what we do within our schools. So where does the journey begin? We must start our journey to understand others and ourselves through peacemaking, having respect for one another. And as we open up, society becomes more whole versus focusing simply on ourselves, our culture, and our rights. We must stop competing with one another, stop being defensive. We need to ask, is there a fear that we will lose our own identity if we come together in community? We need to begin to create the village, the community of your school and each child. We need to grow alongside one another, even when we have different ways of growing. We learn more about ourselves by reflection and learning through open conversations. And that's what I'm hoping will happen as we move into our textbook. We also have to ask ourselves if we're comfortable with being vulnerable. Some people are not, for various reasons. But we need to be aware first of our own comfort with vulnerability. And are you comfortable showing your challenges, what you're not so strong in, what you need help in understanding? In our reading by Vanier, he asks us, do we accept our own brokenness? We often look at children with disabilities and see their brokenness, but yet we don't remember or don't even reflect upon all of us are broken in some way, shape, or form. And have we taken the time to reflect on our own brokenness? Can we say, I don't know where to start. I don't know where to start this journey. And in special education, if we take this time to say, I don't know, and look outside the light, can we recreate and rethink special education where all belong? So as Krahnapple and Cobb tell us, instead of taking an approach of self-reflection, of understanding ourselves, and trying to rethink and recreate, we become aware of a catalyst. We believe all should be served. We create committees, which then creates limitations. We say, I know someone who can help. Therefore, we do training. We start conversations about the training. We do not see any changes because nothing happens. We say, let's be practical. We ask administration, just tell us what you want. We then fall back to just good teaching after all. And we are back to status quo. And then we repeat the process again. As we move into Module 1 and you read the first chapters in our text, it's my hope that you'll begin this self-reflective process and engage with me so that we can help each other reflect on our thoughts. You'll need to be a little bit vulnerable, and so will I. So let's see where this conversation takes us. And hopefully the skills you learn during our course and through our text, you can take back to your school site or your organization and work towards changing the culture, changing the system. In Module 1, you'll have a post on your reflection of equity initiatives. Be sure to watch and read Brown versus the Board of Education. Read Race, Ethnicity, and Disability, the Financial Impact of System Inequality and Intersectionality. Read The Value of Inclusive Education. Read Chapter 1 in Krahnapple and Cobb, and then submit The Keys of Equity. I hope you enjoy this first module. Let me know if there's anything I can do for you. Have a great day.